is a better God than the God of Israel, clearly. Because you know how it is when Babylon defeated Jerusalem and Judea, they took the worship elements out of the temple and exported it to the temple of their God. The symbolism is right there. Our God's superior because your God's defeated. We defeated you, the people of your God, and we are demonstrating this by showcasing it as like in a museum to all the gods we defeated, and you're one of the gods we defeated. Our God's superior, right? So in the same mindset, Naaman could be thinking, you know what? Our God's superior to your gods, but there was a problem. Naaman had leprosy. Everything's going Naaman's way. I mean, come on, if you climb up the ladder to being a general, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5-star general in the United States military, you've arrived, right? You're at the top of your profession in the military ranks. There's nowhere else to go. You're at the peak. And so now you've arrived, but Naaman had leprosy. Everything going well. Have you ever had that happen in life? Things seem to be going well, and all of a sudden, a stillbirth. All of a sudden, something happens. And then it's like, what do we do now? Well, it's kind of fascinating because here Naaman worshiping the superior God who's given him all these blessings supposedly, a captive that he had abducted, that he had kidnapped when he had swept through and marauded through the country of Israel and kidnapped her and brought her home to be a slave to his wife, cared about him. She cared about him. You know, do the people of God care about people who have taken advantage of them the wrong way, have used them, have enslaved them? Do they care enough about them that when they see that they're suffering from some physical malady, some emotional malady, or whatever it is, they wish for them to know their God and receive healing? Isn't that interesting? Little maid, we call her. And she said, I just wish so much that Captain Naaman could go and see the great prophet of Israel, Elisha, and he could receive healing. You know, Naaman tried the worship of his God. He probably spent a lot of money on wonderful offerings to appease his God or to seek the favor of his God. He probably went, I think if you read Patriarchs and Prophets and Kings, that he went to the finest doctors that they had. None of them could touch it. Leprosy was an incurable disease of the day. But now little maid says, the prophet in my country, not even a doctor, not even one who is of the God that Naaman worships, an inferior God, the prophet of an inferior God, if you go to see him, he will heal you. He knows what to do to bring healing. Well, you know what? Sometimes in life you find yourself in desperate straits. You would do things that you had never done if you weren't in those situations. You start looking for answers. And lo and behold, it's almost ironic that did God mastermind the idea that the remedy for his leprosy would be in his house, that would whisper the name Prophet Elisha, that would send him on a trip that would result in his healing. Not physically only, but spiritually and eternally. Isn't how the Holy Spirit works crazy? I mean, who dreams of this kind of stuff? We worship a God that's just amazing to me. It's like, God, how did you pull that out of this bad situation? You made something glorious happen for your name's sake. And so they are going down to Israel, going down there to meet with the prophet Elisha. You know, it's kind of interesting. When he came to Elisha, he was kind of a little bit full of pride, right? He had brought a lot of money. I think it's just under $100,000 or so worth of gifts to give him. That, you know what, it's a quid pro quo. I'm going to give you all these things as a thank you for the gift of restoring me from leprosy. You know, kind of like the religion of the day was the religion of works. If you offer enough good sacrifices to the pagan gods, you may appease them and they would condescend to give you a blessing. And it's religions of the day that are pagan in nature are all based on works. So here he comes with the works mentality. I'm going to give all this to you as a result and saying thank you. But Elisha came, and he wasn't rich, dressed in rich apparel. Some of the television evangelists today, they got all sorts of stuff. But that wasn't Elisha. He didn't have all the flashy flashes, all the rich apparel, but he did have something a lot of them didn't have. Faith in God. Genuine faith, a connection with God, a relationship with Him. And he's the only person that I know of in the Bible that received a double portion of the outpouring of the Holy Spirit on Elijah. A double portion of the Holy Spirit. I don't know about you, but I would love to have a double portion. I would take even just a full measure of the portion that Elijah had. That'd be great. I would love that. But have a double portion? Man, that's dangerous. The Holy Spirit's going to do some crazy things through you that, wow, it's going to be amazing. So here he is. So what does Elisha tell Naaman to do? Naaman comes to seek healing. Now, was Naaman seeking to connect with the God of heaven at that point? Zero interest. There's no reason to want to connect with the God of heaven because he's got everything going his way. The only thing he's missing is health, and that's why he's here. That's it. He's not interested in God of heaven at all. But Elisha comes out, and he says, go wash in the Jordan 7 times. Well, I tell you, God cuts right to the chase. He knows when we're proud and arrogant. He knows how to bring humility to us, right? If you want to receive healing at the hands of God, you can't be proud and arrogant about how great you are, even if you are great in man's eyes. But God doesn't respect anybody different from anybody else in man's eyes. Truly, He loves the people who follow Him and love Him in a covenant relationship with no question. And He has a special interest in taking care of them. But He cares for the sin-sick sinner just like anybody else. He died to save their soul as much as He died to save yours and mine. And He longs to reach out to them and bring them salvation. Go wash in the Jordan River. What's wrong with the Jordan? Muddy, dirty, filthy. You know what? Elisha says, not Elisha, but Naaman said, there is no way we're not doing that. He turns his horse towards home, and he's on his way. I don't know if he's galloping. I doubt he's just trotting or plodding. I think he's on his way out of there in anger. I came all this way. I brought all these gifts, and I'm going to go home empty because he wants me to go wash in that dirty, filthy river that stinks. It's kind of interesting. Some of the Michigan lakes, yeah, you know what I'm talking about. Muddy bottoms, murky, up there at Tequanum Falls, all that stuff that's in the water, that brownish stuff, it ain't very pretty. And if you jump in the rivers and lakes, some of them, boy, they kind of muddy bottom. It's true. Higgins Lake's got some sand bottom. There's nice things there. And Torch Lake's got some beautiful, clean, clear water. And I prefer to go there any day over a lot of the other lakes in Michigan. And you know what I'm talking about. And for Naaman, it's like, you got to be kidding. First of all, you disappoint me. Your apparel. It doesn't speak of somebody who's prospered and arrived. And now, dump into this to dip in 7 times. So anyway, when Naaman went, he had to humble himself in his heart and his mind. Pride had to go out. His faith was being tested, and the prophet Elisha, the little Naaman's maid, said, the prophet can heal you. He knew that she was a true worshiper of the true God, and something about her that touched his heart. Something about her. I don't know what it was, but it got him. So he's going to go. Interesting that he was on his way home because of pride, but thank God for good friends. He had the subordinates under him in the military, and they rode up alongside him and said, my father. Have you ever done that before? Where you just gone off, you're angry, you're reacting in anger, and you're out the door, and somebody's going to come and try to persuade you to go something different than what you want to do, and you're ready to fight. When they're going to say something, you got some words to come back, but then they say, my father. It's just, they care about you. You're calling me dad. You care about me. You're subordinate to me, and you're calling me my father. Wouldn't you do a great thing if he'd asked you to? How much more this lesser thing? Why not go and do that? Thank God for good friends. And I want to encourage you. Are you a good friend? Are you a good friend to people when they're down and out? When they've been asked something hard from their doctors to do? or something hard from the marriage counselor to do, whatever it is, and they want to just throw their hands up and say, forget it, I'm done, this relationship's no good, it's better just to jettison it and head out, to encourage them with a little bit of love, a little bit of encouragement. Come alongside, put your arm around them.